Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad you're with us today. And in the studio, joining me for Fabulous Fun Friday is Becky Brown.
Hello.
Hey, Becky. People always love it when you're on, and she kind of balances out whatever happens over on this side of the desk. So we're really glad she's here. If
Whatever.
you want to, and if you're watching on Facebook Live, you could call us right now, 1-800-229-3000.
I usually watch on Facebook Live. Yeah, I watch
Mm-hmm.
with all of our Facebook Live fans, and I love interacting with them. It's great. I'm glad you're all there.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
I am going through the 12 steps for divorce at Facebook Live on Growing Deeper at 5 o'clock Eastern. A lot of people have never looked at the steps, especially if you were told they were an alternative to Christianity. Well, they're based on the Bible. But listen to this. There's one step, if you're not familiar with the steps, and it's an entire step to get ready for God to do something in your life. It says, we became entirely ready for God to remove the defects that we find within ourselves. Now, it seems kind of weird to some people that would be one of the 12 steps, and you can get this in a Life Recovery Bible. But if you were entirely ready, you would have done it. Mm-hmm. You already would have done. You would have let go of some things that you're hanging on to that you know aren't healthy. Or you would started some things, already would be started, things that you know would be healthy. So you've got things in your life that you're not entirely ready to change. There's too much of some stuff, and there's not enough of others. Some are impulsive, some are compulsive. But here's this step of growing humility and an earnest desire to be closer to God than anything that brings me comfort or safety, a feeling of it, a false feeling of comfort or safety. Being willing to sacrifice for the greater prize of being close to Jesus and to having fellowship with Him. So if you've never been through the 12 steps, they are Bible-based, Christ-centered in life recovery, and they really can help you uncover some layers, some things that just maybe it's been hard for you to look at. Right now, I want to go to Lee, and I want to talk with her. let's see, she's just on the internet, and where is it that you live, Lee?
Kennewick, Washington.
Kennewick, Washington. Well, thanks for holding on from another program. How can we help you today?
Well, I want to tell you thank you for picking up my call. I really appreciate it, and I'm sorry I have to call during crisis.
No problem.
Thank you. I have a 32-year-old son who got arrested last night. Assault for and strangulation and resisting arrest, and I think that's it. That's
okay.
enough. But and he struggled with drug and alcohol use for the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was intoxicated at the time.
Okay.
And he has already tried to call once from jail. He was living with me for 5 months. A couple weeks ago, he couldn't abide by the rules. I've asked him to leave, so he's been with the girlfriend for the last couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
And they have a child together. I have that child with me.
Okay.
And it was with her mother.
Can you ask us a question, and we can talk about it over the break and give you a better answer?
Sure, yeah. I just want to know, he's called once. He's going to get out within the next probably 72 hours. Where do we go from here? I mean, what do I need to do, or what should I do to, I don't want to say prevent, but move this situation forward in a positive way?
Yeah. Well, if you'll hold on, I think you're going to like our answer. We'll be back right after this for more New Life Live.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you opened the book and showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, July 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. And Lee, talking with Lee, son, 32, in jail. We can hear the son's child that she's taking care of. Lee, I want to tell you one thing that's just the best news ever, is that you didn't go down and bail him out whenever you heard he was in jail. And I got to tell you, I got a friend named Dennis, and he called me. His son was in jail, and he had just written the check. And I said, get that check back from the person at the jail and drive home. I think he was about 4 hours away from that town. Drive home after you tell your son, I'm not going to bail you out. And it literally was the beginning of him getting sober. So first of all, you've done a great thing. Maybe you weren't even asked to, but it's great that you didn't do that. Secondly, when he gets out, you don't need to do anything but be ready to invite him to live a different kind of life. And so Becky and I were talking about this, and Becky suggested that you'd say, I'm really sad that this has happened, and I'm just hoping that this could be the thing that would cause you to want to make some changes and get some help. If not for yourself, for this little person that I'm taking care of. And just let him know you care about him, you love him. Don't lecture him, don't try to shame him, but just invite him to use this as a turning point in his life.
In so many recovery stories, what we hear about is the rock bottom. Because when you get to rock bottom, you have nowhere to go but up. And each person who is struggling with addiction, it has to get to that bottom. So if you are helping him stay away from that bottom, you're part of the problem. So it's great that you have had some great boundaries in place, Lee, and I'm hoping that you will get some support for yourself as you go through this. You can ask him to, are you ready to seek treatment, or what do you need to do? By the time he gets out of there, he will have come down from his high.
Yeah.
He will get into the early stages of withdrawal, depending on what his level of use is. And, but clear thinking is a long way off at this point.
It really is. And I want to see if we can help you locate some treatment. And, if you were going to do anything for him, and if you're able to help him cover some cost of treatment, something like that, then you'd say that. And I'm willing to help you with that. I don't want finances to stand in the way. If you can't, you would say, I wish I could help you, but I do know this. There are places you can go, and treatment doesn't cost anything. And those places are, Salvation Army, for one, is one of those kind of places.
Well, and we can connect you to, Lee. We work with treatment centers all across the country that are Christian, that it's not just a Bible study on the weekends, but they thoroughly embrace the life recovery process. And we can, just stay on, and we'll get you connected with some options that you could offer him, when he calls. You can say, well, here's a phone number.
Okay, so hold on. We're going to help you with that. You may not have heard this because I just made it up, but there's a level below rock bottom.
Okay. Do tell.
It's hot lava.
Oh.
At the core of the rock, it gets molten.
That's true.
So some people, even rock bottom isn't enough, and they literally have to hit the core of hot, molten lava before they change. But the sad thing is, when they change, they lost everything.
Yeah.
And there's just no reason to lose everything. So you could limit the loss by deciding today that you're going to get some help.
Some of those testimonies, though, don't we love hearing the before and afters? You know, when somebody has just lost everything and then made that decision, that's not going to be my life.
All right, here's Sandy, Washington, D.C. WAVA is the station that she listens to. Hi, Sandy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Steve, and everybody else. Thank you so much for this program. I just love it. I look forward to it every day.
Well,
Thank you.
Listen.
So,
Thank you.
Yes, and so especially now nobody's looking. But anyway, I just want to say I had 2 marriages. The first marriage I lost my husband to another woman. In my second marriage, unfortunately, I lost my husband to suicide. Mm-hmm. He went away. That was 4 years ago, and committed suicide far away from us. I went through my grieving. I'm thankful to God that He took me through the valleys of the shadow of death, and He took me through them. And I'm on the other side of that now, and I'm doing very well. Okay. And I met someone. Well, let's just say by phone, because I guess that's the new thing. Everybody's doing this thing online and whatever. Anyway, I met a gentleman a year and a half ago online, just before we were going to meet. He had to go overseas. He's a government contractor. He's been over there for a year and a half. He is a Christian. I am a Christian. And we've been talking back and forth or texting or emailing. He sent me flowers twice. And did not forget my birthday. My brother passed last year. He was supportive of me by phone, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just want to know, he's possibly coming back in August. And again, we haven't met. And I just want to know, give me some advice.
Well, first of all, I literally don't have any red flags that just spout up.
I do.
Okay, I don't want you to hold those. Because if it truly is that you've never gotten together in a year and a half because he went overseas, and there's no way for him to have said, hey, why don't you come over here, or he's not had any time to get back over there, then I'm just going to say there might be some possibility, especially the fact that he's nice and remembered your birthday and all of that. But Becky has a different perspective on this.
Yes, I do.
And so what's yours, Becky?
Well, Sandy, I had all kinds of red flags. The first thing that came up for me was you know, it's been a year and a half that you guys have been having these, texting and talk. And do you talk on the phone, the actual voice to voice, or is it just texting?
Voice to voice.
Okay. And this sounds really skeptical, but are you sure that he works for the government? And the reason why I ask that is because... Go ahead.
We have confirmed each other. Before that time came up, he confirmed who I am, and I confirmed who he is. So that is a yes.
Well, you're just knocking off Becky's negatives one by one here. So just
but that's
keep going.
the reason, Sandy, I'm asking, because I don't want you to,
Keep
wait a whole nother year and I got another trip somewhere. And it's great that he's thoughtful. The big question is, what has prevented you guys? Like, how far apart do you guys live?
He's in the Carolinas. But right now, he's overseas. As I said, he's a government contractor.
Right. But, I mean, you can drive from the Carolinas to the D.C. area, I think. I'm just, I'm putting it out there.
That almost happened. It was going to happen, but it didn't happen because he was called out to go. It was all set up. I had a friend that was going to meet him, a male friend, a family member,
that
was going to be there for us, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't going to be a meeting of just me and him. It was going to have someone there that lives there as well in the Carolinas.
Well,
and that's still on when he returns.
Okay. I want to give you 3 questions to ask him.
Okay.
Have you seen anyone over there and been intimate with them?
Okay.
Or anywhere. Doesn't even have to be over there. He lives far apart from her.
Becky's really trying
I'm
to
sorry,
nail this
Sandy. I'm trying to protect you, I want.
respect that. I appreciate that.
Well, because what I'd love the story to be, we started texting a year and a half ago, and about 6 weeks in, he drove all the way up to DC and met with me and my brother. And, that's the story I want to hear. And so, but go ahead, Steve, with your other two questions.
Second question is one that I think everybody that wants a relationship to work out needs to ask. Tell me about your experience with pornography.
Okay, yes.
Because it's, well, first of all, when you're in a foreign country or you're in America, if you're a man, that's the one most likely that's going to hang you up. Okay? And number 3 would be this question. What is it that you're looking for the rest of your life? Is it a life where you talk to women on the phone? Or is it a life where you find someone like me to settle down with and experience life together?
Very good question.
And what I like about asking them now is he's over there, and it's not like you're demanding anything. It's just a great time. And if you don't get the right answer here, then it is time to move on. If he is seeing someone over there while he's talking with you on the phone and he's not telling you, that's a problem. And then, of course, the pornography, you would encourage him, well, you need to get that taken care of. And after you have, and you've been totally pure for a year, maybe there is some potential here, but not so much until that would happen. Okay?
I agree. Thank you.
And then the third tough question is, you just don't want to be avoiding the question that you really do have on your mind all the time. What is his intention?
Right.
And if you had a daddy, he might even be calling the guy and saying, what is your intention with my daughter?
So I have one more thing. Sandy, I was just wondering, is this enough for you? Like, are you satisfied with just that long distance connection?
I'm very comfortable with my life, period. I've been enjoying my life, and I'm happy and content. If I had met someone here that I liked and that wasn't too forward and too aggressive, knowing that I'm a widow, I would have had a relationship here. If this is no more than just a friendship forever, it's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. When he gets back, if something hasn't happened within 6 months, I'm just going to beg you to say it's over, okay?
Or just call it a friendship
Yeah.
and start looking somewhere else.
Yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send you a copy of Is This the One? And Take Your Life Back. I hope both of those are going to help you. One of the things about Take Your Life Back, it helps you be sure you're the decider of good things in your life, bringing in good things, a decider of who you want to be with, not somebody else. You're not pressured or anything like that. And so we want you to decide that, because when you make the right decisions, then you can decide that God is going to be the director of your life. 1-800-229-3000. That's the phone number to call if you want to be with us here. And how about we go over here to Regina, Pensacola, Florida, WEGS. Hi there, Regina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine. What's going on in your life today?
I'm going to try to say this without crying. 4 years ago, I lost my best friend, my daughter. She was 31 years old, leaving behind a daughter that was almost 14 and a daughter who had just turned 3.
Oh, my goodness.
My heart is still absolutely broken, and I don't know what to do. I have my good days and I have my really bad days. And in March, because that's when she passed, March 16th. March 20th of 2016. I haven't even had the courage to put a headstone on her grave, because I just feel like that would be even more like telling me that it was real or whatever. And I'm on this roller coaster ride, and I don't know how to stop it, and I don't know how to grieve. Every time I turn around, I have people telling me, well, just about the time you're ready to grieve, you go off and you help somebody else, and you're denying your grieving process. I am literally heartbroken. She was my very best friend. I have 2 other children that have tried to fill that place and, of course, cannot. But I am just absolutely devastated. I go through depression. I go through anger. I go through being mad at the whole world, and I'm at my wit's end.
It's understandable.
I don't know what to do.
All right, we're going to give you some help after this. I'm so sorry for the loss, and I'm so sorry for the ongoing pain here. So tough. You're listening to New Life Live. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to help you find some hope and healing.
On Friday night, we got into an argument, and I stayed in the car outside for 2 hours. I knew what the right thing to do was to go.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, July 25th.
You know, I know this stuff. I hear it, I read it, and I'm always getting in my own way. I'm always expecting my wife to go first.
Join Steve Arterburn.
We believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group leaders will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
My biggest takeaway was to just get out of my way and go first.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I'm going to change that little spot to if you have a question or a compliment versus a comment. Anyway, I'm just struggling here, Becky. All right. So Regina, really experiencing tremendous loss. You know, I cannot imagine the pain of the loss of a child, just a child. But now we add to that the fact that it sounds like she was the one you're closest to. For most people, there's some kind of a switch after 5 years, and it gets a little bit better. But you're not getting better all the time here. And so it may be because she's so close to you. And so I think you've got to do some more grieving, really tough grief work for people to be able to see that, yeah, you know, you're going to get your life back. It's not going to be the same. It is not going to be the same. It's always going to be different. But I think it can be better than what it is right now. So, Becky, what do you think here?
Regina, my first question is, are you taking care of the grandchildren?
No, their dad actually has had them, and I go and see them whenever possible because that youngest one is so much like her mother. And she's my doodles. That's my heart.
Well, the other part of that too is that there's this kind of ripple effect. I have grandchildren, and I can't even imagine. You're missing your daughter in such a grand way, but you also miss what the potential would be for them to have their mom. And the 14-year-old has got to be struggling too. So there's all this kind of complicated grief throughout the family. And it doesn't sound like you guys are close in location, though, right?
No, they're about 45 minutes away from me, so it's not like it's that far. But right now, the father's kind of pushed me away, and the only time I'm allowed to see my youngest granddaughter, she is 7 now, and the only time that I'm allowed to see her is when she's at my mother's, which is her great-grandmother. Mm-hmm. The other daughter is 19 now, and she comes over here all the time. She's married. I was there for her during that. And so her and I are very close.
One of the things that happens in grief is when you say that your son-in-law pushes you away, it's because all of your pain, everybody's pain gets stuck together. And so, and I don't know if there's extenuating circumstances there, but I think the best thing that you can do, Regina, is to process your own grief. And there is a process that goes, we have the Life Recovery 12-step grief workbook that we'll send to you, but it's not going to be on your own. You're going to need other people that can help you kind of identify. So you mentioned not putting the grave marker in place because it's just too devastating. It kind of puts, like this is the reality. But yet that could be the very thing that keeps you moving ahead so that your granddaughters can see that everybody's life didn't end with the death of their mom, that we live and we keep moving and keep her name alive as we do the best we can in our life.
And I think putting the marker there or working through so that you can put the marker, it really could be the most healing thing you could possibly do.
Yeah.
Now, why is the son-in-law restricting you? Did you have words with him? Is there any really solid foundation for his dislike or restriction?
I think it's because I am a reminder of my daughter that passed.
Yeah.
And I think that he is just so deeply hurt because he has just now started talking to my mom about my daughter. Well, so I think there's a lot of pain there, and somehow or another, me being so close to Amanda may represent that to him, and he can't deal with that right now.
It could be. But I want you to focus on two things. Number one, you had a wonderful relationship with your daughter, and it sounds like that she had a wonderful relationship with her husband. And so you created a remarkable person. And sometimes, we pay a big price for that. The greater they are, the tougher. How did she die?
She died of dysautonomia with POTS, which is posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Basically, the electrical system to her heart didn't work correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a niece that has that.
Okay.
But when they did the autopsy, though, they came up with something that I didn't agree with as an accidental overdose. So I've been fighting with them about
overdose
that.
of what drug? Accidental overdose of what?
They did not say. They did not say. They just said it was an accidental overdose.
Accidental.
So I don't know exactly. I've been talking to the coroner about it, but anyway.
Regina, as is the case with so many callers, you present both the problem and a step or a path to the solution. And I really believe that grave marker it's a grave marker for her, but it could be a life stone for you, so that you can give all of this love, not in the same way, not with the same feeling, but you can give love freely to those who deserve your love, want your love, and will respond to your love. We'll take a break and come right back after this.
after I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle Workshop can be a trip to the Sexual Addiction Emergency Room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle Workshop will be held online Saturday, July 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and we're going to send her the grief workbook and the Life Recovery Bible. It's not the whole answer, but it sure can help you get to the answer.
Don't you think that's usually the issue, though? Whenever we have a problem, we want to know, like, step 1 through 101. And what you really have to do is take that first step. Right. And that's the beginning of the whole process. And you never stop walking. That's the thing, that we always have stuff that we can be working on and getting free of. And if you think that you don't need to take a step, you might be confused. Just saying.
That's right. Oh, boy. I tell you, I always get tempted to use that last word to set up Larry Sonnenberg.
Thanks,
but here
Becky.
again, I'm not just going to go to speaking of confusion. I'm not going to do that. But it's so tempting. All right. So,
Sorry,
Larry, you're in the studio. How could we encourage people to support this ministry?
Well, by listening to this testimony first.
Okay.
From a marriage workshop, which we're doing in just a couple of weeks here online.
25th.
Yep, one day. We bring so much of our past into our relationships, which then gets mixed in to new experiences, relationships, children, life events, etc. Most good intended people do not have a perspective when entering marriage on going through the journey and the effort it will take to make a marriage a positive experience. Growing up, I was provided with more tools to fix my bike than how to develop a lasting relationship.
Well said.
Wow. I hope I can do better for my children. I may not have been the best role model, but I now understand more about what it takes to develop and sustain a healthy marriage. And what a statement.
Yeah, it really is. And there she is at a workshop,
right,
getting the help that they need. And so the reason we need your help is we want to just continue to do that. For people to experience that kind of transformation, we can't do it without you. Would you help us? 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We still have matching funds that need to be matched. So every dollar's worth $2. Helping one person, you're really helping 2 people.
And we still have a Club New Life opportunity. Anybody could join Club New Life. Call us at 800-NEW-LIFE. Ask them about all the benefits and the thank you gift. We have just such great things coming out of that, but the greatest thing is you sustain this ministry. And through this COVID period of time that just seems to never end, you guys, the Club New Life members, you are the wind beneath our wings, making all the difference. Without you, we'd be in dire, dire trouble. So thank you.
That's right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Please help us if you possibly can. All right, let's go to Janet. New York is where she calls from, and she listens or watches on Facebook.
My husband is a minister and a womanizer. He got fired from a job for groping a coworker. He's addicted to porn for at least 50 years, marijuana, the dating sites, alcohol. He's been married 4 times, and I'm stuck. I need to leave. I need to save myself.
How long have you been married to him?
20 years.
20 years. All right. And so I don't know if we can help you with the questions that you have, but let me turn you over to Becky. What are you thinking, Becky?
You know, Janet, the first thing I want to say is, you know, I'm so sorry that this is where you are. It can be really frightening. You mentioned that he's a minister and all of this is going on, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a board?
And I've not told anyone.
Okay, well, that's step one. That would probably be step one. You need to confide in somebody. It could be a counselor that you talk to. It could be, I mean, that's why I was wondering if there was a board for this church. You know, that's the hardest part. You know, if Dr. Sherry Keffer were on here, she would say she was in a similar situation, married to a minister. Her husband was not faithful. And just that stuck place of, you know, how can I let anybody know? Because I'm just going to upend everything. But sometimes everything needs to be turned upside down.
That's right.
So your first step, Janet, will be to connect with someone who you can talk through all of this. And if you talk to a local counselor, they're going to be able to help you with some of these questions that you're asking about as far as, you know, what do I do next? But that's probably going to be your bravest step, but you can do it. And it's going to make the biggest difference. I would also, go ahead, Janet.
I'm afraid I'm stuck.
Right. I know. It's scary.
And so do you have a friend?
I don't want to tell my friend.
Right.
Well, you need, if you don't have anybody that you could tell, then you don't really have a true friend. You've got acquaintances. You're going to have to tell somebody, because if you can't do what you need to do, then you have somebody come over and they punch in the numbers and make the phone call, and then you ask to do the things. But here's my question. After all this time, why now are you wanting this after 20 years?
After the 4th job, he cannot keep a job. I finally had it. I just, no more.
Okay.
Fired from job after job after job.
So you don't want to be an accomplice to what he's doing anymore, right?
That's what I feel like, yes.
So you don't want to enable the evil that's there. And if you don't call, you're essentially saying, I don't care about other women being victimized by him. I don't care about them.
Okay.
If you care that no more victims, then you make the call. If you care that you know that God doesn't want you enabling evil in your home, you make the call. Okay?
Okay, I will.
Janet, you sound like you're real anxious. And what I can tell you is the hardest call will be to the person you're going to confide in. I would encourage you to start with a professional counselor, only because of the limits of confidentiality that they have. It's going to be a safe place for you. I would, my other encouragement would be to talk to someone who is your friend. Like Steve said, trust somebody. I know it's hard to trust because your trust has been broken. And so that's going to be part of the next step, is to be connected. I wish you could have been with us at our Restore online workshop, but we're going to do it again, and we'd love for you to join. You know, and I would, I just, I'd encourage him to go to Every Man's Battle. I mean, there's so many things that you can do, but being stuck is just going to contribute to your own. Oops, take it from there because I'm out.
So here's the reality. Sometimes the absolute most difficult action is the one that has the most amazing results. So when you finally get unstuck and you take that action, then you get to experience something you would have never experienced before. And that's what we want for you. We want you to have the best life ever. So you bite the bullet, you make that call. And if you can't make it, you get somebody to help you to make that call. All right, we're really glad that she called, and I'm going to send her Take Your Life Back. I think that's going to be a big, big help. And wouldn't it be great if he could go to Every Man's Battle? If you just said, look, maybe we can find some scholarship where you could say, listen, I want to help you here before I walk out that door. Mm-hmm. Because I really do believe when someone gets into ministry and then they get into this problem, the dual life becomes such a way of life. Mm-hmm. They literally don't know how to get out of it, and they have to really do the hard work, and they're not going to do it unless somebody says, here's what you have to do. If you want to keep me around, you must do this thing. So when you need some help, we want to help you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE. And I want you to think about this. You could be that guy. Maybe you're not a minister, but maybe there's somebody married to you, and they're thinking the same thing. 4 times he's done this, or 3, or 2, maybe 1. And if you don't get it taken care of at 1, how many does it take before you finally have enough shame to say, I don't want to be this guy? I think every man has to make a decision at some point or another. Am I going to be a hero, or am I guess you could say, am I going to be a heel? And the hero rediscovers, reclaims that strength that you were born with a purpose, and you find that purpose. But you can't when pornography, sexual addiction, lust is driving everything. So just get it taken care of. No shame when you're part of what we're doing. July the 18th, just sign up for it. You sign up for it, and you're going to feel so good about yourself. You're going to discover the difference between feeling good for a moment and feeling good about yourself for the rest of your life. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Every man's battle can be every man's victory. We'll be back right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. I forgot to mention that any gift to us, we're going to send you a copy of John Townsend and Henry Cloud's new book, Growth Has No Boundaries. Growth Has No Boundaries. Pretty special, and hope that you will appreciate that. And it's just full of scripture that form the foundation of really good, solid Christian counseling and transformation and change. It's called Growth Has No Boundaries. If you don't want to give, you could purchase a copy by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It's just one of the many resources that we have. Now, one of the things that we know, and I think this is a part of our despair during this time of the COVID crisis, limbo is a very, very difficult place to live. You're not in, you're not out. You're just unsettled. And I think that in the midst of all we're going through, our lives feel like they're in limbo. And you don't really fully know the extent of the damage of this time, so you don't fully know how to grieve. One of our friends had a son that got hurt, and the condition could get better, but maybe not. And she said, I just don't know how to grieve because we don't know where this is going to end up. And I think that's part of living in limbo. It is a very uncomfortable place to be.
One of the things that you say all the time is about acceptance.
Yeah.
And what I've been practicing during this time of we don't know if we're supposed to go someplace or how long we can go someplace, if we have to wear a mask, if all of the rules that are kind of confusing us. The acceptance process, it's not just like, okay, we'll just go along with whatever and, check our rational thinking at the door, but literally is, okay, so if this is what I have to do, how can I make the best of this? What am I focused on that's creating some anxiety, some, despair, like you mentioned? And I think too many times we're in this tug of war of wanting things to be the way they were. We're always wanting normal, and there is no normal.
That's true.
And so the acceptance process, and that's why, we talk about recovery all the time. People probably get tired of us talking about it, but we know that it is a good process of healthy living, thinking, and experiencing your life here on earth. And so acceptance is that process of, okay, what is the issue that I'm struggling with? What am I defensive about? And how do I just say, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. What are the tools that I have? Who do I need to talk to? What can I do next?
Okay, so working with alcoholics, I started working with alcoholics in 1977. Is when I first started working with alcoholics. And there was a concept that we knew about, and it was called emotional augmentation. Now here's where that came from. When every cell in your body is craving alcohol, when you have consumed so much alcohol, the addiction is so severe that you're not just wanting a drink. Every cell in your body wants a drink. It's adapted to this. So in the midst of that, when you withdraw, every emotion is heightened, it's intense, and it's hard. That's what the COVID virus does. And living in limbo is a form of emotional augmentation, not because you're addicted at the cellular level, but because it's just a whole other layer. Let's go to Karen from Kansas, and let's see if we can help her. Don't have a lot of time, but I do want to get to your call. Karen, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there.
What is going on?
My husband passed away, and I just don't know how to live as one, and I want to know, how are you supposed to do it?
How long ago did he die?
2 years ago, and I'm still struggling because he was the breadwinner. He took care of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you the greatest example I know of how to go forward as one. She was one of our founding Club New Life members. I don't think she's ever missed a month of giving. And it's my mother. My mother had a great relationship with my father, and it was really tough. She was a breast cancer survivor. She is tough. And my mom showed all of us how you do this, because she misses him still every day. But you do it with friends around you. You say, well, maybe I don't have any friends. You make those friends. I watched her build those connections, keep those connections. I don't know of anybody in this world that have more people love her. Whenever I go to town, to Bryan, Texas, if we're out, I went over to see one of my friends lost his son while I was there, and we went over there to the wake, and everybody was coming up to my mother saying what a blessing she was in their life. Second thing is, my mother has never stopped laughing. She finds humor and joy and everything. You know, she's the one that told me, Steve, I went to a funeral today where they sang Jingle Bells. And it turns out, you know, and she just could not stop laughing. One of her friends, the minister, asked, what did your husband want at the funeral? And she said he wanted Jingle Bells. Well, after they had been performed at the funeral, she went to the minister and said, oh, I was so mistaken. It was when they ring those golden bells, not Jingle Bells. She's a woman of laughter, and she is a woman close to the Lord. She reads her Life Recovery Bible. She is in the Word every day, and she loves her children. So I would say this: find friendships, find those friends, laugh with those friends, connect with them the very best that you can, and grieve that loss deeply of the person that you love, because the person you love does not or would not want you hanging on to them, right, rather than living the life that God has called you to live. Right. Your husband would want you to be free. Now, I did hear of someone who was kind of cruel, said, when I die, you must not remarry and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's just cruelty. So honor your husband by starting to do the grief work. We've talked about it all through this program. And then connect. If you need counseling, you get that. But you set a goal that this time next year or in 6 months, I'm going to be in a better place. Not like I used to be. That's not going to happen. It's going to be different. But I'm going to get better. What do you think about that?
Okay. That's wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it, because no one has ever taken the time to talk to me about this. And I am in the Word of God every day. But wonderful. I did forget to have joy. I have forgotten to laugh.
Yeah. The joy of the Lord is your strength, Karen.
Yes.
And I want to encourage you. You mentioned
have friends, but
you don't?
No, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned two things. So now you told me that you don't have friends and that your husband was the main breadwinner. So it sounds like you're kind of isolated. And so there's a whole lot of new so there's a whole lot of new things that are going to have to take place that can feel really insecure, unsure for you. We're big church people up here. You know, we like you to get in a good, healthy church. And I know with COVID, it's kind of hard to do that. So you could check out a few of them online before you even go in the door. But I want you to connect with a body of believers, people who can connect with you, support you in this new place in your life.
So I'm going to send you.
Yeah, I haven't been to church since he passed away.
Oh, my goodness. We got to get you back in church now. That's where you need to be. I'm going to send you Healing is a Choice. I hope that's going to be helpful to you. I'll send you the Grief Workbook and Life Recovery Bible also. Anybody else, you can get that at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. When we choose to live in pain alone, doubles the pain. Thank you, Becky Brown, for being
Always
here.
A pleasure.
Thanks to all of you who watch, listen, and pray for us and support us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here, and thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, you can go to YouTube, watch us anytime. If you don't know when we're in the studio live to make a call, you can go to newlife.com, and the radio schedule's right there. Also, on social media, you see the schedule there, and we've got links that you could click on. If you got a question about anything, you could just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and a really nice, competent person would give you the direction that you need. But also, if you're on the go a lot, we've got the app, and it's easy to download, and there we are. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, and hope that you enjoy watching as well as listening to the program. Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.